What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Sunbelt Syndicate. We've got a very special show in store for you today. A quick shout out to our affiliate sponsors, W Energy, Fanplex Graphics, TSN Off-Road, as well as Dano's Seasoning. And as you can see, we've got quite a bit more people on video tonight than typically do. So first of all, Seth and Marv, welcome into a new baseball season. Excited to get going with you fellas. But we also have some guys from the ULM Warhawks. Welcome to the show, Michelle Artzberger, Coach Michael Federico, and Zach Shaw. And gentlemen, how are we all doing tonight?
Good.
Doing great, thanks.
Great. Well, we are
appreciate y'all being here.
Have you here?
Really appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah. Really appreciate the time and look forward to hearing a little bit more about you guys and the Warhawks coming into this season. So we'll start off with the, as I said before we got going here, a softball question, even though it's a baseball show. What are you guys' overall expectations for the season, whether it be, a tiny little goal or something bigger? Coach, if you would start us off with that answer.
Yeah, I think, my big goal is, of course, the team coming together and then, getting to Birmingham or to Montgomery, and, getting in that conference tournament, establishing ourselves in this league. And then it's always to get to Omaha and get to a regional, something in this league is capable of doing all the time. And it's an expectation for me in this group. We're an older group, and there's high expectation for this group to be able to do that this year.
Nice. Michelle, you want to go next with that?
Yeah, just kind of going off what Coach said. I think the biggest goal as a group is just take it a game at a time. It's going to be a really long season. I'm going into my 4th year of Division I baseball, so I kind of know how much of a grind it is. And, I'm just really looking forward to being with the guys in the dugout on road trips and all that stuff. And like Coach said, if you're not aiming for the top, why aim at all? So I think we have a really special group, and I'm really excited to get going.
Nice. Zach?
Yeah, just expected win. Just been here for 4 years now, gotten better every year, and this year's the year to make a run, make it to Montgomery. Haven't been since my freshman year. Then make a regional and see where it goes from there.
Nice. Like those answers. Going over last year, you guys finished with an overall record of 25-30, 11-19 in the belt itself, with an RPI of 172. And I just wanted to give that little recap and kind of show where we ended off last year. But Marv, you've got a little tidbit on how they finished off the season there a little bit, right?
Well, not just season. So in 24, 8-win improvement over 23. So, and then looking at the roster, you guys do have a some older players on there. So one question I wanted to ask, and this is to the group, and you can answer it individually. And Coach, I think I might know your answer to this one, but what is your favorite road venue in the Sun Belt? The place that you look forward to playing, whether it's atmosphere, easy travel, whatever it is, but your favorite place to play on the road in the Sun Belt?
For me, it's Southern Miss. It's where I graduated from and where I coached for, a long time, and just got a lot of family and friends that are in that area. And it's usually electric. And, we were able to have a good series with them there last year and had a chance to win it on Sunday for take the series, but we weren't able to do that. But that's definitely one of my favorite places to play.
Yeah, looking at your background, I kind of figured that was going to be your answer. How about you, Michelle? Where's your favorite road venue?
I'll go with the obvious one right now. This year is going to be Arkansas. I'm really excited to go to Baum Walker. I've been a huge baseball fan growing up, and every time I see a game at Arkansas, it's always packed out, and their fan base is just amazing. So I think it's going to be a really great experience. But in the Sun Belt, I'd probably say Coastal. My first year here, we went there, and I think just the whole stadium and the whole layout being by the beach. I'm a big summer person, so I love the hot weather, the water. So I think that would be my top 2 spots.
Very cool. How about you, Zach?
In the Sun Belt, it's probably going to be Lafayette. Just growing up in Louisiana, knowing the people down there, I mean, their fans let you hear it over there. And it's just a great environment to play in. And it being our biggest rival, it's a fun place to play.
Now, we've had a bunch of players on last year that talk about going to Lafayette, and they say the same thing, the fans give it to you. But have you guys got to experience the Cajun Cooking Club? Because I hear that they take care of you with the food after the game.
Yes, they do.
Definitely, that's one of our post game meals. A lot of times, their cooking club does a great job for it and all. And there's definitely some fun stories, like Zach said, of playing in Lafayette over the years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Michelle, you talked about road trips with the guys, your buddies. Those are your brothers. What are those road trips like? What is those weekend road trips like with your buddies and the grind? Give us an idea of what that's like week to week.
Well, I think first of all, it's obviously if we're on the bus, it's all of us just being together for who knows how it could be up to 12 hours, however long it is. I think it's just quite the experience playing Mafia or something like that, just passing time. I think that's a big part, and also just being in a hotel, being able to eat breakfast, break bread together, which I think is really important for us. And then, just being able to experience these new places with the guys, and especially with the young guys like the freshmen. Some of them will be their first time going on the road, so I think it's pretty special being able to be one of the older guys and knowing how it works and seeing everybody else enjoy the experience.
What about you, Zach?
Pretty much backpacking off what Meach says. The Mafia games get real on the bus. And then just hanging out in the hotel with all the guys, just finding things to do and just preparing for games.
What's Mafia? We might be too old for this. I'm not real sure.
Well, it's pretty much like a game. It's you have a narrator, and so there's two cops, there's a medic. What else? What else is there?
The Mafia.
The what?
The Mafia.
Oh yeah, the Mafia. And so you pretty much the narrator. Everybody has their heads down, and then the narrator picks whoever he wants to be the Mafia, and then the cops, and then pretty much from there it's kind of like a detective game. You know, you pick people, and then after everybody goes, the narrator brings everybody up, tells a story of, like, let's say, we went down to Monroe, Louisiana, and Zach Shaw ended up being eliminated. And so then it pretty much just sparks talk among the guys, trying to figure out who did what, who did this. And it's really fun seeing, it kind of gets pretty intense. So it's a fun time.
Coach, you get on this game?
I don't, but I do enjoy listening and watching and laughing at them a lot of times. It gets intense, and I don't really understand it either. I try to figure it out what he's talking about. They say that every time, but it is just it's crazy. It is very fun, and I enjoy that part of it for sure. And I enjoy when they make some of the young guys have to sing too on the bus. We do that a few times, and that's always fun as well.
That's cool. Hey, Coach, I got a question very specific for you. In like the new environment that college athletics is in with transfer portal, how much does that change your approach to recruiting? You look at a high school kid that's got a ton of upside, but it might take them a year or two to really make an impact, kind of, catch up to the college speed, if you will, versus going and getting a kid out of JUCO or a transfer that's had a year or two experience and can come in and make an immediate impact. Does that play any part in your decision-making process when you recruit, or are you just looking for the best fit, or kind of how does that affect you guys?
Yeah, we're looking for our kind of guys. I mean, we've kind of stayed more focused on the high school and the JUCO ranks. I mean, most of our players are from the high school and JUCO side of it. We don't have, NIL money and, that kind of thing to really be able to go get certain guys. We'll splash in there, and we've gotten some really good players out of the portal. One of our catchers is from Notre Dame this year, and probably our starting center fielders from UTSA. So we'll do it, and we're not scared to do it. But I like to build it in. I like the development side. Like just these two guys that are on here right now. I mean, they've been in our program for a long time. So I think you take your lumps sometimes too much, and it can get a little hostile back and forth if you rely too much on that. And that's, again, just, my belief on it right now.
Yeah. So play the long game a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
Michelle had kind of already answered my next question a little earlier, but these midweek games, these non-conference games, what you talked about going to Fayetteville, but what's some of these non-conference midweeks that you guys are looking forward to the most?
I always look forward to Tech. Being from Monroe, I always grew up hating Tech.
Is that Louisiana Tech?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't like them.
Don't like this.
Is that a series, or is that like just a midweek? What you guys got there?
I think we got them 3 times in the midweek.
Yeah, we actually played them 3 times this year. Last year we played them 2 at our place, 1 at theirs, and this year we go there twice. And they come to us once. It's kind of a home game for us. A lot of times we'll play them on the Tuesday before that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whether it's Easter or the last weekend, just because it doesn't really matter where you're at if you're home or away, and it's just very convenient. And there's a lot of people. We're only about 30-40 minutes away from them, so it makes a lot of water cooler conversations in the the regular folks, because a lot of them either went to Tech or ULM.
Very cool.
Is that I'll jump off topic for a minute. Is there any interest from your particular side or people in the area in general in bringing on a team like La Tech to the Sun Belt? Obviously, that would become 3 teams from Louisiana, all in the same conference. We've seen all this conference realignment and this movement. You've got you guys in Louisiana, and that's the rivalry, as most people know it, even though this one seems to take precedent, even with them too, I think. Honestly, I think like everybody teams up to go after La Tech from the sounds of it. But is that like an intriguing thing? Is that something you guys ever kind of hope to see even when you're gone? Or what are the thought processes on that? And I'll start with let's start with Zach on the answer on that one.
I mean, growing up here, a couple years ago, their AD said some stuff, and I don't think they should come in. It makes it an easy midweek for us too. So,
okay. Michelle, we'll go with you next, and then go to Coach Fed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't really put too much thought in it. I know they're in a good conference themselves, but I mean, I could see it being a good idea. Maybe get a weekend series against them if they were to join the conference, but I don't know. I really don't have too many thoughts on that.
Fair enough. That was not one that I had written down. I just threw that out there as a curveball because I know that there's been a lot of talk. Coach, I mean, specifically, do you guys have a good working relationship with the coaches over there at La Tech as well, or is there kind of like a friendly, I don't know, note sharing when you guys play against somebody or anything like that going on?
Yeah, well, their head coach Lane Burrows and we actually coached together at Southern Miss years ago when I was a volunteer coach in the late 90s. So, and then when I worked at Meridian Community College, his mom was actually our secretary. So Lane and I are really close. We're friends, even though when we play each other, we want to rip their faces off. But that's what makes it fun. Again, like what Zach was saying for the midweek games. I think proximity, it definitely makes sense for us in Lafayette and some of maybe Arkansas State and some of the more local ones. But I don't know if it really makes sense for our entire league, especially now that we've got 14, to have 3 teams in here. The hard part, like Zach was saying, where us and Tech are located, it's hard to get midweek games sometimes. So, that definitely would hurt us trying to figure out who we're going to play, because then we'd have to really go to South Louisiana a little bit more, and it makes it tough from the classroom side of it. But I definitely think it makes sense in a lot of ways from a proximity, but long term, I don't know if Lafayette and ULM fans would really want Tech to be in there with us.
Makes sense. I think that's kind of the common theme that I've gotten, but I know as you guys are obviously literally closer in proximity and closer to the whole situation, just wanted to see if there were any good thoughts there. Before we move on to the next question, though, I got to ask about the hats because I like them. So if I'm reading it correctly, it says "sweet" on there.
Yes,
It
sir.
does.
Okay, Zach, you got to give me some
We,
kind of explanation of what this one's about.
Coach, if we get you a couple of dresses, can we get some of those sent in the mail possibly?
We definitely can. We can definitely try to work something out with that.
A couple T-shirts, something, anything. We'll take it.
The explanation behind the hat is just I think this week Coach Fed came. We had a team meeting, and he pretty much just kept going about if anything bad happens, like we rain out a game, we have people sick, just say sweet and keep moving on. Just keep fighting. Next guy up.
I like that. I like that a lot. Coach, you want to put anything extra on that explanation, or you like that one?
No, I think just, it's the Warhawk way for us is sometimes, we've got to get over hurdles that maybe some other people don't. And, whether it's a bad call by an umpire, just, say sweet and just move on to the next play. Or if it's, post-game meal has lettuce on your sandwich and you didn't want it, just say sweet and just move on to the next thing. So just trying to get our guys to understand that life's difficult. And sometimes you just, it's your, being optimistic with each situation and each scenario, because sometimes, bad first at bat may lead to the game winner walk-off hit at the end. So just being ready for those things and just trying to, steady wins the race, so to speak.
Gotcha. Michelle, you got the hat like right beside you there on the desk or something, right?
Yeah, totally.
He's got to show off that hair, man. He's got great hair. He can't keep it in the hat all day.
He doesn't
right?
wear hats very often.
Coach, I got a question about the conference in general. Can you talk a little bit just about how tough the conference is compared to some of the other P4 conferences around the nation?
Yeah, I mean, I think our league is, second to none when you're talking about those. I've been very fortunate in my career to, be in Conference USA and the sunbelt now for a long time. This is my 8th year going into the sunbelt. And, when you can have multiple teams in leagues, which is what I've been a part of for a long time, that's why I wanted this job here at ULM, because, you don't necessarily have to finish first and you can still get into a regional. You're still going to have, tough weekends. You're still going to have really good RPI games, and you can find your way to get to Omaha. And there's, a number of teams in our league that have been to Omaha. When you think about, Southern Miss, Lafayette, and Coastal, they've been to Omaha, and Coastal has won a national championship. So it's not far-fetched to think that those things can happen for us, because I think our body of work that we get out of our 30 games allows us to be able to do those things. And so to get an at-large bid is really difficult, and we're putting a product out there, from 1 to 14, that it's tough weekends. Even for us last year, it wasn't the greatest year for us in the conference. Didn't make the conference tournament, but there was a lot of Sundays that we were playing to win a series, and it's a difficult thing to do, and that's what I love about this league, and the challenges and facilities, and even our fan base is really good.
Yeah, we consistently like to say in here that you can call the Sun Belt a G5 in football. You can call them a mid-major in basketball, but I almost looked at it as disrespectful to call this baseball conference a mid-major baseball conference. Yes, I understand some of the facilities maybe aren't up to SEC level in regards to some of those things, but you've got a lot of interest. You've got a lot of fan support. You've got a lot of good teams that are consistently putting out good records and getting 4 and almost 5 teams within the NCAA tournament to end the season. And you can see that you guys have not an easy slate, whether it's non-con or conference. And like you said, though, you take advantage of that and you're going to be well positioned at the end of the year. I do want to mention that you guys start with a nice little homestand, though. You got 9 in a row at home before going on the road for your first game. Start with Michelle there. Do you like a long homestand to start the season like that, just to get comfortable and, into a routine before you get going on the road?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing like playing at home. Since my first year here, I've seen I guess Lou St. Amant Field now just go through drastic changes, and I feel like it's an amazing place to play. So, I mean, there's no better nights than Friday nights at the Lou. So, I think it's a really good way to start the season, being able to defend our home turf and get off to a strong start for Monroe. I think the city deserves it, and I think we're ready to show them something good.
Absolutely. Zach, we'll go with you next, and then we'll finish with Coach there on his thoughts on that long homestand to start with.
Now in my career, it doesn't really matter to me how long we're at home, but having the long homestead to start the year definitely helps out our younger guys, our newer guys who don't really know what college baseball is yet. And all these freshmen are going to get a taste of it, but they all get a taste of it at home. So it's not like they're going to get thrown into the bus. They're just going to get thrown into the fire of having to deal with away fans without having any experience.
It's a good call there. I like that thought process. Coach, anything specific from you on that long homestand to start with? You guys get to try and schedule it like that, or is that just kind of how it worked out?
Definitely try to get, 3 of our first 4 weekends at home. We try to always do that. Actually, we were supposed to go on the road week 2, but then when the Southland Conference, all the changes that happened with them last year, we had to kind of redo the schedule for this year. So we're at home the first 2 weekends, and we go on the road to Missouri State week 3. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get a lot of home games, but we can get some of those northern bus people to kind of come down and play. And I definitely love the fact that we get to do those things, and hopefully we get off to a great start. In 2020, when we were off to a great start before COVID happened, we kind of had this similar schedule. So it's kind of been built that way. And I think with our, with 27 juniors and seniors combined, this was definitely something that was strategic for me.
Very nice. I like the thought process. Yeah, go ahead, Marv.
Yeah, I want to follow up with Michelle and Zach, going back to the quality of the conference, right? So you guys play teams from other conferences midweeks or a series early in the year. Just want to hear from you two what you think about the opponents that you see and just the quality of arms and the quality of batters that you see in this conference.
I'll start. I think this conference it's a juggernaut. I mean, from top to bottom, there's really, which goes insane for every baseball game, but in this conference, it's whoever plays better baseball and makes the fewest mistakes is going to win. Because, there's always those games where you can kind of slip up and you kind of get lucky and stuff like here. But in this conference, it's like you have to have your foot on the pedal the whole game, not take a pitch off, because in an instance, it could be flipped around and then you're down by 3 or 4 runs with just one silly mistake. So it's a challenge, but I mean, we're up for the challenge, and I think it's something great to be able to play such good competition, see the types of arms and hitters, because I really do think and believe that it brings out the best in us as a team.
My biggest thing with this conference is, like, you're talking about the SEC and everything. Every team in the sunbelt, their middle of lineup are SEC caliber hitters, and everybody has bullpen guys coming out, starters that could throw in the SEC. And it's with the conference, it's who's hot at the time. Like the conference can get flipped 1-14 in a heartbeat in one weekend. That's how close it always is.
Coach, you got thoughts on the strength of the Sun Belt overall?
I agree with both of them. The leagues, it's really good. I mean, when you're seeing, first rounders the last couple of years get drafted out of here, you're seeing Sun Belt teams that are hosting regionals. So, I mean, I think just those two things, when you have the caliber of players that those two were just talking about, but also you're putting a body of work that some people are hosting regionals and super regionals. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I can't remember Absolutely. What the number was, but I think was it 19 guys drafted out of the Sun Belt last year?
19 guys.
Yeah, I can't remember what the number was, but I think was it 19 guys drafted out of the Sun Belt last year? 19 guys drafted out of the Sun Belt last year? 19 guys drafted out of the Sun Belt last year?
Yeah, and then if you count the free agent signs too, I mean, a lot of us had free agent guys too. That now with the 20-round draft, it's maybe not as many people getting picked up, but I mean, we had 2 lefties that were free agent signs that were 93 to 96 on the mound. So you're seeing 95-mile-an-hour arms on Sundays in our league, and that's just amazing. And it's not just 1 or 2 teams. I mean, we've got guys that are throwing that hard, on Sundays as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great.
Coach, piggybacking off that just a little bit. This is our second year doing this podcast. Our first year, we learned how important RPI is. I think every episode we spend 20 minutes talking about RPI, and we learned a little bit more and more about it as the year went on. Talk to us about how important RPI is, and looking at your schedule, what are some matchups that could really, for you guys, could boost your RPI as the year goes along?
Yeah, I actually showed a PowerPoint to our guys the other day about the quad 1 to quad 4 different scenarios, and actually I've looked at all the teams that were playing this year where their RPI was last year, like you said, for us 172. How easily it could get flipped if we would have just taken care of business in a couple of other games, and the number of teams in our league that are in the top 100. Let alone, the ones that are getting into regionals that are in that, 50 and lower. So, for us, besides the league, I mean, the league kind of speaks for itself, but, I know playing, the 2 road games at Arkansas, I mean, those are huge, opportunities for you right there. The 3 games with Tech, they were in a regional last year as well. I actually looked at something the other day with our schedule, and I think there's like 7 teams that are, played in regionals last year. I mean, you go into a Missouri State. I mean, they're one of the top 25, P4 type programs as well. So our body of work's there. We just got to take care of business, and we got to win the games we're supposed to first off. But also we've got to play really, really well and try to find ways to sneak some of those high RPI quad 1 wins.
Yeah, the quad stuff is like, again, with the RPI and everything we were learning, and they use it in basketball and are using it more in baseball. It's a lot to keep up with. It's understandable.
Yeah, and like I said, I showed our players all the stuff. I'm sure they, Meach and Shaw probably didn't even understand all of it, but I think they got a better understanding just kind of explaining it and showing them where some teams were in regionals with those things. And again, kind of like Meach was saying, every game's important, and whether it's Louisiana Tech on a Tuesday or if it's at Coastal Carolina, and we've got those opportunities to be able to do those things to get those wins.
Yeah, and speaking of Coastal Carolina, that is one game that surprised a lot of people, jumped right down their throats in that first game of that series last year, beating them 13-5 in that first one. So that they're, again, just like you guys are saying, this is not something where you go, oh, so-and-so is expected to win, so they're going to win that. That is not the case here in the Sun Belt, and that's why we have so much respect to the 3 of us, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. So not an easy league to be at the top of. So it will be a challenge for every single team within the Sun Belt. But we're going to talk a little bit about a different league, because I just want to see and hear your guys' thoughts on Banana Ball. Just have a fun question here. Have you gone to see the Savannah Bananas, World Tour live? Do you know someone who's participated in it? What are your thoughts on this, like, wacky, if a fan catches a foul ball, they're out in the real game type of thing? Is it fun? Do you like the standardized, rules and regulations of what you guys play more? Zach, we'll start with you on that.
I've never been able to see them live or anything. I'd love to do it later in life, but I really enjoy it. Seeing it on TikTok, Twitter, everything. I wouldn't be that mad if they added the foul ball. If a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. As a pitcher, at least. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I like that. Meech, what do you think on that?
Well, I actually had a teammate that I played JUCO ball with who played for them, Bryce Madron. He's an outfielder, and I really do find the whole thing fun. I think it's a really innovative way for entertainment in the sport. because just from the videos that I've seen, I mean, they were in Houston at the Astros Stadium and they had it sold out. Like, insane amount of people go to it, and I think it's a fun twist. And I would definitely be a fan and like to do it, but I think it's definitely something like a summer ball thing, something extracurricular. I definitely would stick to just regular baseball and how we play. I don't think there's anything better.
Nice. Coach, thoughts on the banana ball stuff?
Yeah, I'm a traditionalist like Meach with that, but I do find it, very, very entertaining, and it just seems like it's the fan engagement. They actually came to Baton Rouge last year, and I know there was a couple buddies of mine and their families went down and saw them, and they came back with all the gear. And then, ironically, a local kid that's from here, he's not a kid anymore, but his name's Thomas Semino. His dad's actually the high school baseball coach at one of the local schools here. He is actually now working for him. He's one of the managers of whatever the other team is, not the Bananas, but whatever the is it the Vandal? I don't know what they're called, but he's like the manager for them and stuff. And he's told me some crazy stories. And I know the venues are always filled, and it is entertaining for sure.
Yeah, party animals is the
Party
other
Party,
one.
that's it. I just saw
Yeah.
a picture of them in the jersey the other day because I think they're in Arizona for spring training right now.
Nice. Yeah, it is. I've gotten to take it in live. I'm right down the street from Durham Bowles Athletic Park, and Marv and I have seen a couple games over there. I think, Seth, have you been to a game over there?
I'm not.
Okay. Well, anyway, like you guys said, they're selling out MLB stadiums. They definitely sold out that minor league ballpark. But yeah, it's quite the show. Vastly entertaining. My thing with it is I just don't know how long it lasts. Like you guys said, I think a lot of people will always kind of come back to the traditional baseball. But it is a great fun thing. And I hope, you guys get to take it in live at some point, because it does seem kind of fun. But I think that's going to wrap it up as far as our questions. Do you guys have anything you want to share or talk about before we finalize this episode with you?
Meach, Coach, Zach, you guys have gained 3 fans tonight. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
We thoroughly enjoyed this, and we speaking for the other two, we truly appreciate you guys. We wish you guys nothing but the best.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm excited to see Zach. Zach's dad was an assistant AD here for a long time, and he's grown up in the Warhawk dugout for a long time. And so I'm excited for his senior year. And, Meach has been with us for 4 years, and, signed him sight unseen during the whole COVID time. And like you said, he's been a part of, when he signed here, we didn't even have a field because we were in the process of it. So I'm excited to see these two guys contribute. They're both, tremendous athletes and competitors. So I'm excited for them to lead this group this year.
Absolutely. We are excited to see it as well. We will definitely be following along with your guys' journey throughout the season. Obviously, thank you for coming on tonight, and certainly an open invite to come on at any other point throughout the season. We'll be reaching out if somebody, pitches a shutout or, hits a couple solo home runs.
We'll have them back on.
Yeah, there you go.
We can definitely
that'd be great.
Yeah, beat Arkansas. We'll have you guys back on. That'll be phenomenal.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys very much, and we will be watching you guys on the field this season.
Yeah, best of luck, guys.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Thank you.